Are you? How's everybody on this Wednesday? I'm doing well. I'm a few minutes late. I'm sorry if any of my students are here. They will remind me of that. My young students are very punctual, which I really like. They keep me on my toes. How's everybody doing this evening? How's America doing? Hello, smart starters. Good afternoon, Kip. Great to see you. Great to see you, Arlene. Yeah, Arlene, you're still having a great day. Yeah, I know you are. Recent correspondence meant nothing. Okay, so that's our shorthand for that. So I'm hoping Jamie Belay is going to join us because he is actually teaching with me tomorrow and came up with this wonderful method of teaching, and I was very excited about it. So I put together the show this evening. Really, it's about the way Jamie's going to be teaching. And I was inspired by the way he was teaching. So let's get Jamie on. Jamie, are you here? Jamie. You know what? I don't know if I can tag somebody here like I used to on Facebook, if I can tag them. But anyway, yeah, hopefully he'll be here. So, I'm doing a lot of teaching right now on Zoom and such, which I love, and I've incorporated a lot of all of it is looking is learning, and I'm really doing a wonderful job. The students are doing a phenomenal job. Today they had an hour class with Dion, all from the perspective of looking is learning, body awareness, how they see themselves in space, how they feel themselves in space. Yeah, really great. I'm really loving it. So with that, I want to show you a little bit of tomorrow. We're going to be working on cubism, and we're going to start with Brock, Jamie and I. And Jamie's really going to be teaching the application part of it. I'm not an application teacher. In fact, I learned so much more from the artists and all of you when discussing the work. It's one thing to be able to look at the work and discuss it. It's another thing to be able to do the work. It's very, very different. And to be able to teach the viewing of art and teaching the application of art, very, very different things. And I would never presume to be able to do it. So that's why I bring in the experts. So Jamie was talking to me this morning about the plane and cubism. And what he was telling me, in fact, let me just give me 1 second as you're looking at this early Brock piece, and please discuss it because it's early Brock, right? It falls into more of this period of what they call Fauvre, right? The Fauvists. And so let me just, I'm going to just share this on his page. And so we could see a bit of this, how early it is. And we'll see it in relationship to later pieces. So I really find it, I really find it fascinating, the work. It's interesting because if you've ever been to the MoMA, which I'm sure a lot of you have, it's really fascinating because when you're in the area that is Cubism, it's very, very hard to take. It's not hard to take. It's a lot of one type of work in one space that is not. I don't know. So that's what I want to say about that. But let me go. I want to just start with a little bit of a reading about this. Where did my reading go? Oh, good Lord. Let's find it. Sorry, guys. It's been a long day. A good day, but a long day. Once I start teaching, you go into a whole other space, and it takes a lot out of you. It's great. I love it, though. So the founder of Cubism, along with Picasso, and if I'm teaching Cubism, I really like to teach Brock because I really like the notion. A lot of younger students, a lot of people don't know who Brock is, but everybody kind of knows who Picasso is. Along with Picasso and the creator of papier-collé or pasted paper technique, Brock is one of France's most important icons of the early 20th century. He was born in 1882, but his family later moved to the port city of Le Havre in the region of Normandy, where he spent much of his childhood. Um, let's see. Yeah, he's French. Yeah, he served in the military. I'm just going to review it. In 1907 came a big turning point in his life when he was introduced to an exciting young Spanish painter, Picasso. This was the beginning of a lifelong friendship, mutual respect, and artistic collaboration that was to give birth to a new revolutionary art form, Cubism. The art form was a product of their frequent exchange of ideas. They influenced each other and fed off each other's energies. While it was Picasso who introduced Braque to a world of distorted planes and shallow spaces, it was Braque who brought geometric forms to life, a touch that was inspired by his first idol, Cézanne. And a lot of people do place Cézanne as one of, the early Cubism because Braque is so inspired by him. Braque's paintings from this early phase bordered on the realms of the abstract, with twisted perspectives and somber colors. The most important work of Braque from this phase in Cubism is known as analytical Cubism. The term Cuban, of course, comes from the word the cube, which was used as by an art critic to describe one of his works in an exhibition. So what's interesting is that Jamie is basing all of his teaching on the cube. In fact, that's what we call him, Jamie Ballet, the cube. This is an earlier work. This is more Fauvist and so you see the colors. So let's move on and let's look at these Cubist pieces, so to speak, because you see, watch what happens to these colors, my friends, in this beautiful boat scene. They change. The whole picture plane changes. It's really fascinating. And I believe this is where they're calling that synthetic cubism. And so the whole picture plane changes. I had another, oh wait, I think I put it here. Yeah, okay. Let me read you a little bit from this. So this piece is the pink tablecloth. And it's interesting because even the pink of the tablecloth, this is 1938, and it's oil and sand on canvas. Hey, Leslie, on canvas, how are you? Hey, oh, it's so good to see you. Yeah, I was a little late tonight. I was listening but didn't have my glasses. That's so funny. Yeah, you know what, Charles? That is so true. There's an outside, then there's an inside. Absolutely true. So Braque's artistic career was interrupted when he was called up to serve in the First World War, and this experience distanced him from Picasso and dampened his avant-garde spirit. The prevailing traditionalism of the interwar period, coupled with the serenity maturity brought him, awakened a classical spirit in Braque, who, without abandoning the language of Cubism, to which he would always remain loyal, produced a set of still life characterized by undulating rhythms and contrasting textures. The classicism heralded by a text he wrote in 1917, nobility is born from a restrained emotion. Emotion should not be translated into an agitated tremor, nor can it be added to or intimated. It is the seed, the work of a flower. I love the rule which corrects the emotion. I find that really interesting. It does kind of have that sense to it, right? I mean, when you think about it, nobility is, hey, Deborah Block, nice to see you. That nobility is born from the restrained emotion. But is that a good thing? And maybe that's what I'm seeing when I go into the MoMA, or the Met more so. And the Met has a very big modern art collection. And you see all the Picassos and Braque. It is all so restrained. And it is that broken plane and that kind of the way of looking. And there is no emotion to it. Yeah, I think that's a really interesting way to put that. Let me go back to this other, there was something here that I read that I quite liked. It can explain it better than I can. Let me just see if I can find it. Okay. Cubism, the frequent exchanges, distorted planes and shallow spaces. Well, look who's here, my Eleanor. Yay, Eleanor. Thank you for joining. In fact, Eleanor, this is a precursor to our class tomorrow. So I actually did this especially for you, knowing you'd be on. Yeah. Hey, Stephen. Nice to see you. Wow, it's been a long time. How great to see you. Yes, Charles, it makes me nervous. It makes me nervous. It just makes me feel like I'm in a very heavy place. So that there is a lack of emotion, but there's also a heaviness about it. And I think that that heaviness here has to do with the distorted planes and the shallow spaces. For Jamie's way of teaching with my students is that everything he starts with the cube and then he's going to go outward. So he doesn't even believe in teaching like making cross hatching and hatching motions, because for his way of thinking, it's, I believe, if I'm saying it correctly, and Jamie, if I'm not, when you see this, please correct me, that's looking at shadowing from a different place, whereas everything from the cube and the plane, you can shadow differently. I think I'm right. I don't know, but I'm very excited about this. So I love this, the pink tablecloth. What I like, and Eleanor, you'll tell me what you see here, right? We'll do this tomorrow as well. Yeah, cubism. Look at all the shapes in the background. I do quite like the shapes on the wallpaper or on the wall. I think it's I enjoy that repetition of shapes. You know, I have to say about this, what did I do with my other one? Wait a minute. All right. This one has a special meaning to me because you see my dog in the background, you guys. He's trying to get out of here and he doesn't want to. Oh, that's so interesting, Kip. I have to go back. Good grief, I immediately saw the scream in the pink tablecloth, brown circle, and that's really interesting because that does look like a face in that tablecloth, right? Everything being brought down to the plane. Did I just ruin this for others? No, that's your observation. That's why we like doing this, right? Yeah. So Eleanor, my little student Boo-Boo, tells me she sees a Christmas tree in here. And look at that, lo and behold, I now see it. I didn't see it before. What I love about this piece is it's from the park at Saint-Denis. Saint-Denis is a very, very important church in France. It's the abbey, one of the early Gothic cathedrals. And Saint-Denis is from Abbot Suger, one of the first architects, I guess you could say, of Gothic architecture. And so I think this is so fascinating. It's so fascinating to me because we have Saint-Denis here. Oh, you meant it on the last one? All right, I'm going to look at it. But do you see it here also, Eleanor? You see it right in the middle there? What I find so interesting is that as the Saint-Denis is one of the first Gothic structures in Europe, and it's early, he now takes it to this cubist place. Just really interesting. Really interesting, because remember in the Gothic, it's all angles, it's all triangles, right? Going from a triangle to the point, to the buttresses, going from this kind of Romanesque round arch to the pointed arch. Yeah, so it's really, I think, fascinating, yeah. Yeah, about the designed wallpaper, right, Arlene? I like the designed wallpaper. So let's go back to this one. Oh, I see where you see the Christmas tree, Eleanor. You see it on the designed wallpaper. Yeah. Nice. Very good. Very good. I also like in this one in the background, I like the detail to the architecture. Some of the shapes within the glasses and such, within the carafe. Yeah. I want us to look at this one because also several of my students, my young students, they're so ambitious, you guys. They all play instruments. They're playing the piano. They're playing the violin. They're just, I mean, these are young kids. These are elementary school students, and Jamie is going to be teaching them basically the drawing program from the freshman year of Carnegie Mellon. How do you like that? Dion is teaching them ballet. We're doing tomorrow. I'm a short story section where we're going to read aloud Bernice Bobs Her Hair. And if you haven't read it, please read it. F. Scott Fitzgerald, charming story. Yeah, this one is cool because this is all about that violin. Yeah, all about that violin. Yeah, I really like this piece. And it's got that, and the piece of music, The Little Bird, is the name on that piece, and that's actually the name of the piece. But again, everything is broken down, and I really need Jamie here to discuss more of that plane, the picture plane, and the way it's all broken down. I really am not, I wish I were more fluent in this. I'm not. I'm honest. Yeah. So let's see if this is, I think that's the synthetic. Yeah, I'm going to let Jamie discuss it. In fact, what I'm going to do for tomorrow, don't forget William. Eleanor, I'd never forget William. William's going to teach everybody how to write a short story. And then from all of the things they learned from Jamie, they're going to illustrate their stories. So I'm very, very excited to see all that. So I think what I'll do for tomorrow is I'm going to show you specific ways that Jamie is teaching this to them because I'm fascinated by it. Yeah. The violin is just, well, it is, Charles, it's just wood on the top, but do you see the shape of it? Do you see the outline of the violin? There's a few, it seems to be more than one, or it's that broken up picture plane, and he uses the outline. Sally Vicholo, how are you? Good to see you. Talking about cubism. Tricky one. Brock says in an interview in 1957, he said, there is only one thing valuable in art, and that is the bit that cannot be explained. Would be irreparable harm if there is no mystery, then there's no poetry, the quality I value above all else in art. Yeah, I like that. And interestingly enough, it's about cubism, I have to say, has that for me, that he says to explain away the mystery of a great painting is if such a feat were possible, would be irreparable harm. If there is no mystery, then there's no poetry. Yeah. Yeah, doesn't, oh, thank you, Deborah. I think that's so true. And you can see that here. And I think that's probably why I grapple a little bit with cubism, because it feels oftentimes heavy. And there's also, and I think we can agree on this, there's a very male sensibility about this, and so much has been written about it that there's this kind of feel of analyzing it, but it's so true that there's the poetry in it. And I think that's why this one, for me, the Saint Denis, because there's so much poetry for me in general in cathedrals in the Gothic period, a period that I really love, which we looked at yesterday with Arlene's work in Byzantium. Yeah. So that's where I am for this week. Excited about these classes I find this fascinating, that Brock went from this to this. Really fascinating. Yeah. So everybody, hope you are having a very good Wednesday. Hope the world continues to think about each other. Let's put it that way. Yeah, it does elevate. I agree with you, Charles. I hope that everybody starts just kind of thinking about each other. What's good for my fellow man? Oh, if I leave the house with a mask, That works. Yeah, you're right, Eleanor. It's like a 3D, right? It feels like you're going into that plane. Very good. And Jamie's going to work with you a lot on that tomorrow morning. So I'm excited about that. So yeah. So, New York, it's amazing, New York, how well we've done. And we went from this mountain on this curve back down. But we feel absolutely, for myself, very much with all the surrounding states really suffering through this now. Yeah, we're proud to have to help shape this curve to get down the mountain, as the governor calls it, the other side of the mountain. But when you're alone in it, it doesn't necessarily feel triumphant. Yeah, remedy. Yeah. Doesn't that sound fun, Kip? I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, yeah. So, thank you. So, everybody, be like New York. Wear your mask. Why not? I don't like mine either. The only good thing about my mask is I don't have to put lipstick on. I kind of like that. All right, guys. I'll see you all tomorrow evening. And I'd like to pull some images from my class and see if you may enjoy that. Yeah. Yeah, thank you. Have a great night, everybody. Bye-bye.